Dana.
Well, the circumstances surrounding Brooks's release on bail raising a lot of questions. Scott Walker is the former governor of Wisconsin, now president of Young America's Foundation. Sir, how much were the people of Wisconsin let down here?
Oh, unbelievably so. This is becoming a national tragedy when you see that someone like this, a career criminal, not only should not have been let out of bail, what was he doing not in prison? This is a guy who's time after time after time been given a break, even though he's committed violent crimes over and over again. And this is someone who belongs in prison. And after all this talk, the latest of which you just mentioned, with radicals from New York and elsewhere calling for the end of prison, the end of cash bail, this is outrageous. People like this need to be protected from the public, and it's an absolute breakdown that this happened.
A couple things here. Paul Bucher's the former DA there. He was with us last time. Very interesting. He had a lot of facts, too. Here is part of what he said. Here's Bucher from the 9 a.m. hour.
He has a right to a speedy trial, and ironically, if he can't get a speedy trial within the time period, he's going to be released. So they reduced the bail to $500, which eliminates this requirement for a trial. But the same thing happened. He was released. He posted it and he was out. And so it was ridiculous that he should have been out to begin with.
I don't think there's anybody who disagrees with that. Now, the Milwaukee DA is John Chisholm. He's a progressive. He's had a lot of influence. He said this: the state's bail recommendation in this case was inappropriately low, call for two guys, in light of the nature of the recent charges and pending charges against Mr. Brooks. So Chisholm's this progressive. He's like pushing this stuff in San Francisco and St. Louis, all across the country. So last hour, we asked Bucher about that influence that he has or could have. Bucher said, listen, he wasn't in the courtroom, but his ideas are in the courtroom. So to you then, does he have an effect or influence on this $1,000 week bail from 2 days ago?
Well, out of the office of 125, the standard has to be set at the top. They said this violated the procedure. If that's indeed the case, they need to bring evidence up and talk about how they're going to fix and correct that. But if this is part of this left-wing agenda funded by George Soros and others around the nation, they need to answer for that and correct that as well. Thankfully, the district attorney in Waukesha County is someone I appointed as governor 6 years ago. She's going to bring charges at a minimum, at least those 5 homicide charges, probably more charges. And remember, again, this guy tried to do something like this already just within the last month, not just in his lifetime, going after the woman that he tried to mow down. This is a horrible, horrible crime. My mother was on that parade route. She was watching the parade. She saw the car go by and said to me the night that this all happened, after this happened, I talked to her, I should say, that she couldn't believe somebody was going down the parade route that fast. And that was before the guy even hit anyone. This is horrific. It's awful. I put up some GoFundMe pages today for some of my niece's classmates. There's still a lot of people hurting, and we need prayers and support for those families as well.
Zoom out for me for a moment. Of course, you're the former governor of Wisconsin, but you also ran for president. And so you've had a national look at things. When you consider crime in this issue, and this year of the 2022 midterms that are coming up, how big a role should crime be for the Republicans to try to right this wrong when it comes to the no cash bail?
Well, it's unbelievably important, and this is something I got a little grief on when I was governor, because I wasn't big on criminal justice reform. I'm all for rehabilitating people dealing with opioid and other addictions out there. That's different. But when we talk about violent criminals, these are people that are in and out of the system. We need to keep them safe from society, and this is just sadly one more classic example of that. You've got a radical element that wants to defund the police. They want to close down federal prisons. They want to push back on this. We saw last year during the pandemic, when you let violent criminals back out in the street, they commit crimes. That's what criminals do. And we need to push back and make the case that the most fundamental responsibility of the government is to keep people safe, whether it's the federal government with our military or at the state and local government when it comes to law enforcement.
You just need a quick answer on this. I'm trying to figure out why this would happen. Is it personal politics? Is it oversight? Or is it laziness on behalf of the court?
All the above. Sadly, all the above. And it's infiltrated into our largest communities, whether it's Milwaukee or Madison, San Francisco, New York, D.C., you name it. This is where people are completely out of touch with reality.
Thank you, Governor. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And please give our regards to your mom who was there at the parade. Thank you.
So he went there, and that takes us to Gerard Breaker. Wall Street Journal writes today, Kyle Rittenhouse and the left's terrifying assault on due process. And he makes a connection a little bit between what was happening in Milwaukee, what was happening in Kenosha, what was happening in Waukesha. He said, if the left's reaction to this case doesn't scare me or you, I'm afraid you don't understand what it represents or how rapidly and how far the poison of the subversive and illiberal dogma has already spread through a political movement ideology we once called liberal. I encourage you to read it because it's a point of discussion and debate in America today about whether or not the Democratic Party has been hijacked by this extreme progressive left movement.
Gerard Baker is always a must-read, this one in particular. You know, when there's a gun crime, there is an expectation that we have a conversation about gun violence. Fine. But I think when you have these crimes, and we've reported on several of them this year, victims who have been hurt after somebody got out on one of these situations of no cash bail, usually domestic violence related. We know that from this guy as well. They are violent people and they go on to commit other crimes.
Yeah, I just think the governor's last answer there was quite telling. You give him three options. Is it personal politics? Is it oversight? Or is it just being lazy on behalf of the court? He concludes it's all three.
Yeah. Well, we'll stay on top of it as these people grieve this today.